Welcome to Zen Live. I'm having scotch instead of a martini. I think I'm getting a little tired of martinis. So, the title of this talk is The Zen of Royal Weddings. Now, let me start the day off. The day started off, I came downstairs, got my cup of coffee, and turned on the computer, and there was a clip from the royal wedding, and so I watched it. And as I watched it, I held together my two rings. This is my wedding ring, and this is my Satchidananda ring. It says on here, it's in Satchidananda, the sun and the moon. And I held these together, and I kind of like did the vows as they were saying the vows. And I've been high all day. I notice I'm high when I write a lot. My writing is high, let's put it that way. But so what I wanted to talk about was the Zen of the royal wedding. Now, of course, this was the epitome of all weddings. You know, the royal wedding is what all other weddings aspire to. All other weddings are mini weddings, or children of this wedding, or sub-weddings, or copies, clones, whatever you want to call it. Nothing can get higher or greater than the royal wedding. And so all the brides, you see, will all want to have their wedding to be a reflection, just a tiny glimmer of the beauty and royalty and the magnificence of this wedding in heaven. In other words, this is the cosmic wedding. This is the wedding of the cosmos. Now, I know weddings because I was a wedding photographer from 1987 until, well, let's say 2005, which is during the recession when the weddings dried up, and I kind of like semi-retired, so I haven't done any since then, maybe one. And so I'm retired from being a wedding photographer. And so I know weddings. And of course, in my own life, I was married, and then in 15 years got divorced because I failed at marriage, and then I failed at divorce and got remarried. So I've been married twice. And there was, so I understand weddings. And so it's really, weddings is always a work in progress. It's never fixed. If you fix it, if you try to fix it and make it stop growing, it's not going to work. So, well, first let me say there are 3 stages to the wedding. And the wedding is the last cosmic universal ritual that everybody can participate in, no matter if you're religious or not religious, whatever culture, wherever you are, people will participate in and enjoy a wedding. So this is the last mythology. Rituals activate mythology. That's what rituals do. A ritual is the activation of a mythology, putting it into flesh and blood, giving it flesh, giving it life, giving the mythology life, giving the story life, you see. That's what rituals do. And if the ritual is unconscious, it ain't going to hold. If it's fully conscious, then you are joyously participating in a mythic ritual. And there's a big difference. The first time I got married, I was participating in a ritual unconsciously, because that was pretty much unconscious, and half-baked. And so my second marriage, we got married. Oh, I got a picture here. I know I've talked about this before, but I don't know who's out there. So here's, my second marriage was an Indian wedding, and performed by our guru, Swami Baba Muktananda, in his ashram in 1977, I think. And I was fully there for that. We were both very conscious there. And it was a real joyous wedding, so different from the first one, which was kind of like I won't say a Baptist, it was in a Baptist church, but it was just basically, just a church wedding. It's okay, nothing wrong with that. I don't have any pictures from it because we didn't even have a photographer. Somebody took some snapshots, but I don't know where they are. Anyway, the idea here is that the wedding has 3 stages. Now, the first stage is the preparation of the sacrifice. Now, remember, mythologically, these 2 people are sacrificial people, sacrificial victims. They're going to a sacrifice. And the preparation is preparation for the sacrifice. There's a lot of nervousness, a lot of anxiety, a lot of, oh, did the flowers come? And oh my God, where are the cufflinks? And oh, she didn't get this and that didn't happen. And he better not see me before the wedding. And all of this panic and fear and worry is the preparation. A lot of tension. You can feel it in the air, this tension. And then the ceremony. And it's like, into this silence and seriousness and sacredness, and God and all that. So here's the secret. Here's the mass. Here's the secret part. Here's something magical is going on. These 2 people, human beings, worldly people, they each got their own life. They each got their own personality. They each got their own careers and history and their friends and families. 2 separate worlds. And they're coming together, you see, and becoming one. And so God is called down to seal this union, to seal it and make it sacred. And then there's the Mardi Gras, the reception, and everybody, the tension is gone. The new baby is born, the new marriage, the new couple is born. The cosmos has been rejuvenated, and it will bring forth fruit and renew itself through children, you see. So this is really important. It's more than just getting married. It's really the renewal of the whole nature. Nature is renewed by marriages, by mating. That renews nature. Take away that, no life. You just got rocks. You see, rocks don't, unless the only time you see rocks renew themselves is if you go to Hawaii and watch the lava. So anyway, those are the 3 stages of the wedding, you see. And so this royal wedding, and the sacrifice too. So I remember, I always used to tell my grooms, they would come here with their fiancé to get the bridal pictures, and I would say, you only have to make one decision in your life, and you ask your girl to marry you. And then a big ship will pull up called the USS Wedding on it, and the bride and her mother will be on this ship, and they put down the gangplank and they invite you on. And you go on this ship and you look around and it's got all this wedding stuff and everything. And they take you back to the fantail, to the back, and they give you a lounge chair and a martini or a drink. They say, just sit here and relax. And the ship pulls away from the dock. And you see all your old buddies there. you see your past life. Then they're all waving to you, Kind of freaked them out a little bit. I remember once, it really did freak this guy out. We were standing in the lobby, waiting for the wedding to begin in this big public place, and so the minister came. The minister, who was a woman, but she was dressed in black, came, and I told him, I said, "Here comes your executioner," and he freaked out. No, I had fun. But anyway, it is a sacrifice. And you tell the groom, and that's where a lot of panic comes in, what am I doing this right? What's going to happen? So it's a blood sacrifice. And that it's flesh and blood. I mean, you really do give up your old individualism to become a we, And but then I was reflecting on this royal wedding, which is really and there was a different sacrifice there for Meghan Markle. I mean, she's really giving up her individual persona, her individual life, and she's marrying not only her husband, but she's marrying into a role. For the rest of her life now, she will be playing a role. as the princess. So whenever she leaves her private house, her private compartment, she will have to put this role on. And the photographers will follow her. And whatever she does will be on the newspapers. Wherever she goes, she'll be on the front page of the newspaper. Everybody will be watching her. What is she wearing? Does she smile? Is she happy? What's going on with Meghan Markle? You see, she will no longer be a human being. She'll be a god or a goddess. She'll be a goddess, you see. And then the only time she will have any Meghan Markle privacy, the only person that may really know her might be her husband in her private quarters. And I thought, that's not unlike the Muslim women in the Middle East who have to have the fundamentalists the women who wear a burqa, the whole covers, with just little slots there like that, peering out, So that's a public role. When these women go into their homes, they take that off. They may drink, have a party, I don't know. It's very strange in Islam. They, it's kind of like in their privacy of the home, they're totally different than they have to be outside. So So anyway, but I just thought that was a curious analogy. But anyway, this Meghan Markle appears, why everybody seems to love her, is that she seems to be joyously participating in this sacrifice. She willingly gives up her individual life for this role. Now, Diana, the mother of Harry, you see, had trouble with that. She didn't like giving up her individual life, so she tried to make it happen a little bit, and then that was always disrupting the royal image, you see. So she wanted to be an individual and wanted to assert her individuality. If you watch The Crown, which I did, I love that, I watched it twice, Margaret had a big problem with that. She didn't like playing the role of she didn't want to be a goddess or a princess. She wanted to assert her individuality. And the Queen Elizabeth, you see, the whole series of The Crown was basically about her struggle with surrendering her individuality, her individual will, to the will of the role of the royal family, of the job, you see, completely submerging herself into that external role so that she as a person just disappeared. So it will be interesting to see how Meghan Markle handles this clash of opposites between my individual role, my individuality, my individual preferences, my individual choices. How do I make that fit into a conformed, scripted role, public role that is passed down, that is maintained through history? And it looks like from what the wedding and everything has been shown, is that this has been a real break in or a sudden, for the monarchy, a sudden lurch into the modern world of individuality and free expression. And this is what The Crown was really about, that, if you haven't seen it, in all the different aspects of this breaking up of the role that people play by the changing world, you see. So there's a lot of dimensions to this. The same with our weddings, is that when the husband and wife, man, will go into a marriage, there has to be a certain surrender to the relationship, and you begin to make little sacrifices and give up certain things you used to do. So there's a certain give and take that goes on. We all experience that. So anyway, thank you for dropping in on my reflections for this Saturday. I'll see you next time.